Emotional sickness lets me know you're real.
All right, Dustin Rogers, sales rep, right? At one point.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Bartender.
Yeah.
Former bartender.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
Program manager for Ignite Design. They're a mechanical, electrical, plumbing design firm.
Okay, so program manager.
Yeah.
Father, marathon runner.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me the secret recipe to running a marathon today.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a secret or not. I think everyone's got a recipe.
Is it a trick?
No, I don't think
trick.
so. I mean, there's like so many things that you do. Sometimes there's no tricks to it.
Yeah.
There's just the hard work. There's just they're doing it. The one footstep in front of the other. No magic. Just a bunch of in between the ear stuff, and do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? But I would say again, everyone's got a different recipe. There's multiple people I've talked to who have different strategies with how they go about it. Are they a pre? Are they during? When's the suffering going to take place? How do you prepare for it? I've got a recipe, but it's changed. So all 4 marathons that I've done have all been prepared for and done differently and executed differently as well.
Awesome. Thanks for coming to Be Well Meat and Cider in Bel Air, Michigan to talk.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
live
it.
From the Hive here.
Yeah.
I looked it up before we did this. Fewer than 1% of people have run a marathon before. It's worldwide.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm not a huge, as far as accomplishments, I'm not a huge data guy. One of the first things that people do is compare, right?
Yeah.
Comparison's the thief of joy. I mean, if that's true, that's awesome. I also see other stats all the time too, whether they're true or not. How many people can run a 7-minute mile or bench 225 or squat their body weight or whatever. I don't know. I think it's more unique to have a hole-in-one in golf than a marathon, but a marathon's still a pretty cool accomplishment.
Pretty cool.
Whatever the rate of percentage of people who've done a marathon, but it's not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people. What does a week prior to a marathon look like to you? You resting the whole week? You tapering down? You running it all? Yeah,
so I've been very fortunate in my life. It didn't matter if it was personal, career, athletics, to have a lot of really knowledgeable and great people around me, mentors.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do when I'm going into areas like this that I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm constantly asking questions, and not just people in that area.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just asking people about marathons to marathon people. I was also asking people who do hard things, like you and Corbin and Darren and people like Jeremy and Paul. What do you guys do to do this? So the week before, again, for all 4 have kind of changed.
Yeah.
My first marathon, I was asking a lot of people, what do I do? How do I get ahead of it? What can I expect? So my first marathon the week ahead, one of the best advice I got from multiple people was, don't stop running. Don't take a day off or 2 days off or 3 days off before your marathon for rest. What you want to do is taper down. So you go from running high levels of miles a week to tapering down. And monitoring your pace, right? Basically make sure you don't stress your heart rate, get your miles down, and your minute of mile down, but don't stop running. And that worked out fantastic. So that week before, as far as what it looks like mile-wise, is tapering. That's worked the best for me. So I go down to 8 miles, down to 4 miles, down to 2 miles. Even the day before, I'm running a couple miles at maybe an 8:30 pace or a 9-minute pace or a 9:30 pace, whatever is comfortable.
Just loosen your legs up.
And just kind of keep your body in that. I feel worse after I take a day off. You'd think you'd feel better, right? And we talked about this before. You stop biking one day and you feel worse the day before. There is no, it wasn't a recovery day at all. It was actually a rust day.
Yeah.
You accumulated rust.
Yeah.
So this was the same thing before a marathon. So the week before, tapering down is what I do for my recipe.
Okay.
Nutrition-wise, hydration-wise, my first marathon, I was overboard. I probably did too much carbs, thought about it too much for me.
Yeah.
Did too much hydration. By the time I got to the race, I was overhydrated. I was taking multiple breaks during the marathon. I just learned a lot.
Yeah.
Second, third, fourth marathon, nutrition was important for me the week of, and so was hydration, but it wasn't as high as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I learned to not hydrate nearly as much. So marathon 2 and 3, no breaks, went the whole way.
Yeah.
Same with marathon 4, I believe. If I did maybe one break in between. So yeah, I mean, that week before, nutrition, hydration wise, I don't overthink it.
Yeah, you just go. Yeah, you overthink it. You overthink it the first time.
For sure, yeah, that first one, because again, like that unknown,
Yeah,
you just want to be prepared.
Yeah, something new.
Yeah, so like asking people what do they do, right? And everyone's got, like again, Paula would probably tell you like this is how I do the week before.
Yeah.
And it's all detailed. She's probably got notes, and Jeremy's got like, I don't know, whatever. You just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in between there. I knew it was important. For me in running marathons, the hydration part wasn't as important. And again, my body type is a little bit different than everybody else's.
Yeah.
I'm not a lean runner, so I'm probably holding some extra things in there
like
that
camel.
that I don't have to account for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start running? Did you run in school?
I did not run in school. Everything in Central Lake High School was kind of the main bread and butter sports. So it was football, baseball, basketball. And I loved sports as a kid. So I mean, like it was young. It had nothing to do with my parents, nothing to do with anybody. I loved a basketball, a baseball, a tennis ball. I had couches like these that I would throw a baseball into during the summers, those long dog days of summer. I would throw a ball into it, and if it stuck, it was a strike. If it bounced out, it was a ball. And I would play in my living room forever by myself. And I would take my own at-bats. I had my own, baseball sheet of, runs and stuff. So I was very, very, really into sports. But running never crossed my mind in high school or young. Nothing in high school. I really started running 2013. My brother started running. And I remember running the first 5K in Elk Rapids at Harbor Days. I had basketball shoes, basketball shorts on, and I was running 3.1 miles, and I had no idea if I could do it or not. But that was kind of when so it was with my brother. My brother and I started running. We were well out of college. It just kind of started to be his thing, and I wanted to do something with my brother.
Yeah.
So it began as our thing, and I just kind of stayed with it. So it spoke to me.
It spoke to you.
Yeah.
And you just jumped. I mean, it's like running a marathon. You jumped into it. You didn't know what.
Yeah, exactly. The 5K is the same exact thing as a marathon.
Yeah.
You get to these stages, right, where I feel like it's like Wilson from Home Improvement kind of looking over the fence. I had no idea if I could run a 5K.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, let's do it. And you learn a lot. You learn so much. But I literally had no idea if I could run a mile. I didn't know. I was just doing it with my brother.
Yeah.
So all right, we're gonna figure this out. 3.1 miles. I don't know if I can do it or not. And then you do a couple 5Ks, and you're like, oh, this 10K is obtainable.
Yeah.
I think I can run 6 miles. And then you do it, and it's a learning experience, and you get crushed, and you what's my preparation? What do I do during? And then you run a couple 10Ks. And you're like, I think that half marathon is there.
Yeah.
So every time I did something, there was something else that I could look at that was like, I think my confidence was building
I think this
as
is
I went.
attainable now.
Yeah. So I mean, even marathon to 5K was the same. The first ones were the same thing. I don't know if I can do this, but I've got confidence built up to get here. The 5K was the start of it all.
The start of it all.
Yeah.
Were you doing any kind of other exercise routine at the time? Were you lifting?
Yeah, I guess I've always been that way. After college, I was very conscious of playing basketball, weightlifting, but again, running had never crossed my mind until running with my brother. I'd never considered it. In high school, that was the punishment. So in football, if you did a mistake, your punishment was running. So I'd look at the Shays, right, or anybody running cross country. I'd be like, "What do you guys run, and that's our punishment. You guys are just running to run. That doesn't make any sense to me at all." So I didn't understand the running culture, what it would mean to me. I had no idea in my earlier years. Everything has been kind of like maybe 25, 26 years old and on is when I've kind of experienced running and what it meant to me.
Now, what did your early days of running? What did the routine look like? What do you do in a week?
So I had young kids then, so that routine was basically whatever I got in. What time can I run? You just go, okay, the kids are sleeping, I'm going to go run now, which is kind of a part of what I liked running and appealed to me at that stage.
Yeah.
There was no cost to it, and I could literally put some shoes on, some shorts on, and go run. There wasn't a setup time. There wasn't a cost of entry. You got some good shoes. You just went and ran. So, yeah, my schedule, it was all over the place. I didn't have a scheduled routine. In that early days of being a father and a husband, it's usually earlier was better.
Yeah,
so
early in the day.
In the summer, when it got light out at 6 a.m., I could run at 6.
Yeah.
In the winter, it was really tough because it's dark most of the day. So it changed, right? It just changed how I did my schedule and how I ran. But no, I mean, running, there was no structure to it. 1 mile, 2 mile, 5 miles, I had no idea what I was doing. Whatever I could run, I ran. There was no structure to it.
No structure.
No.
And that's a nice thing about running too, I think, is that you can just put your shoes on and leave from the house. You don't have to go somewhere. For myself, like a gym membership doesn't work because if I have to go somewhere and start doing that, I need to be able to leave right from the house. And gravel cycling is the same thing. You know, all those things are the same thing. I can leave right from the house.
Yeah, right. You could get your stuff on, get on your bike, and then you could go out your driveway and choose what do I want to do.
Because sometimes that hurdle is having to go somewhere and start. You know,
Absolutely.
leave from the house, you know.
And some of people would reverse engineer it. Oh, I get a membership, and that'll make me want to go. It doesn't really do that. Like, again, if you have to get yourself up, get in a car, drive 15 minutes to a place, it's just not as, unless you're really determined or structured.
Yeah.
But for me, the appeal of gravel biking for you was the same appeal for me with running. I could put my stuff on, I could go out the door, and I could accomplish what I wanted to in this time frame that I had to me.
It's all dedicated to just running. There's no setup time. You know?
Right, yeah. Shoes, shorts, out the door. Now, again, the more you run, the more you bike, you get more things.
You get more things.
And then it became more of like, what kind of socks do I have? What kind of short? You make it more complicated than it should be. Sometimes it's like, let's just go back to the basics. Right?
I bought a brand new lawnmower this year, and I didn't want to spend the money on it. But what I found with my old lawnmower was every time I used it, I had to tinker with it to get it going. And that gave me a great excuse to say, I'm not doing this now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the same thing where you don't have that hurdle to get over. You can just get right to it, so.
Yeah, and again, in the early days, I would just put my shoes on. I didn't care what I had on, and I would just go. And now, if my little heart rate thing, my Garmin's not correct, read on my watch, I get all pissed off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just keep it simple, Dustin. So I actually stopped wearing the heart rate thing and stopped caring about my heart. I mean, I want to know what my heart rate is, but all the tech stuff, I've kind of dropped more stuff. So there was a peak of like wearing all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wearing a little thing, a belt, wearing a watch, wearing a heart monitor. Now it's kind of like if I got the right shoes, the right socks, and the right shorts, anything after that is a bonus.
Yeah.
So I've actually lessened some things to make it less complicated.
As long as you can track it on your watch and put it on Strava.
Strava to make sure it's official.
Just as important as the shoes.
Yeah. But even then, I've kind of made a conscious effort this year to not care about it. That little fitness score, I've been trying consciously to not chase those things. Yeah. It's, again, comparison's the thief of joy, right? When you do data and metrics, sometimes it takes away from just running, right? Just get on a bike and just going, going for a walk. Just go for a walk and go to the state park. Like, you're not documenting your walks with your dogs, right?
Yeah.
It's more enjoyable that way.
Yeah, actually my watch band broke and I didn't wear it for like a month and it was nice.
It's nice.
It was nice not paying attention to everything.
It's almost like kids and their cell phones. Like, I got a 10 and 12-year-old, and when they're without their cell phones, they're really enjoyable people. And we've said this to them. Like, you guys don't know how pleasant you are. And as soon as you get your phone, you're grouchy. And again, I think it's just everything's documented. You're kind of tied to something. You let go of that watch for a couple walks. Like, this is kind of nice to do this.
Not worrying about it.
Yeah. So it's interesting that, the things I've added, I've also now decreased as, again, you find the important things and you stay level.
What does the night before a marathon look like? You just doing nothing, resting, you working?
Yeah, all of it. So all 4 of them. I'm not I've just never needed a lot of sleep. And it's just how I've operated. You talk to my wife when my kids were really young. I was working a really early 10-hour shift job. I would get up with the kids. It was just easy for me to get up, change a diaper, feed them, and then go back to sleep and get up at 4:30. It's just easy for me. So I've never overthought the marathon thing. The marathon to me is kind of like a flight. Like, you're nervous that you don't want to miss the start. Like, I don't care about the sleep in between. I just don't want to miss my flight. So the same flight anxiety is kind of the same as a marathon anxiety. I don't care where or when I go to sleep, but there's just nerves of like, don't miss it, right? Just don't wake up 9:30 for a 7:30 a.m. marathon. So the night before, I have a meal. It's nothing crazy. Just make sure it's a safe meal. Make sure I'm not eating, shrimp or, gas station sushi.
You're not gonna be.
Just make sure it's an easy meal. Make sure I obviously no alcohol for me. That's just kind of my personality anyways. I'm not much of a drinker. Get some good sleep. Try and go to bed early. but there's been nights marathons where I worked at Mammoth.
Yeah.
And I got home at 12:30, and you get up at 6 or whatever for the Bayshore Marathon.
Yeah. You got working kids that doesn't take a break for the marathon.
No, it just kind of keeps on going. I just don't like fit my life to that either.
Yeah.
The marathon's important, but I'm not going to structure my week, my night ahead of it.
Yeah.
Work is still work. If I get a little sleep, that's great. If I get a lot of sleep, that's awesome too. But I'm never really concerned. So the night before, pretty chill. You could find me out eating at a restaurant. You could find me walking around. As long as I temper down and get my mile or 2 miles in that day,
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy camper. I don't have to go to
Listen up.
sleep early. I don't need anything prepped. Most of the time, I don't even have my shoes prepped. I'll wake up in the morning, grab my shoes, my socks, grab my shorts, whatever I want to wear on top, whatever the weather is. So even that, I'm not prepping my shit the night before.
Yeah.
I'm kind of winging it.
Every start line I showed up to as the people in the front are leaving. And the one time I didn't do that, the event went terrible for me.
Yeah, so all right, I'm going to keep with what works.
Keep with what works.
Yeah.
You just got to keep what works. Everybody's different. You keep with what works for you.
Yeah, again, I'm very punctual, so I want to be early. I want to feel good when I get there. I just don't want to rush that. Like, I could never do that. That would make me feel like I'm behind the whole time. I just don't want to have it. So I'm not a huge prepper. I just want to show up early, take my bathrooms, get prepped, make sure my shoes feel good, and then be ready 5-10 minutes before the start.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my only goal.
For me,
on
the
days.
anxiousness of sitting there waiting kills me. So I'd rather just show up right there. I don't have that time to look around, get freaked out. I just show up and leave.
Right, and again, that doesn't bother me. I don't really have that. My anxiety is usually the night before, making sure I don't miss it. I just don't sleep in.
Don't miss the flight.
Yeah, so I don't care if I walk, 10 minutes early. That's time for me to warm up, do the things I want to do, and get prepared for it. But if I'm early to an event, that's ideal for me.
What? So your first 5K Elk Rapids. How long have you been running before that?
None.
None.
I mean, like a couple runs with my brother.
Yeah, little runs.
But nothing before that. No structure. No like anything. I mean, there was no running at all. Not in college. Everything was weightlifting and basketball, essentially. And that was it. And those were the sports that I stuck to because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
And it kind of fit my body style too, right? Like lifting's kind of easy for me. Short arms, short legs, squat, bench. That's where I want to stay, right?
Yeah.
Comfort. Stay in that area.
Yeah.
Stay in basketball. Basketball. Don't run because that would force you to, learn about yourself.
You want to get into that unknown, the ether there.
Yeah. Yep.
What were you doing at the time? You have kids? What was your job?
Yeah, I was working at EJ, and I had just gotten a new job at East Jordan Iron Works. It's formerly known as East Jordan Iron Works, now it's called EJ, and I was an inside sales rep. So that allotted me not a 10-hour shift anymore. So that helped quite a bit with structure of my day.
Yeah.
And I had a different time frame now. But yeah, that's when I had 2 young kids. So we had boy, girl, 18 months apart, and they were both maybe 1 years old, or 1 or a couple months old, or 3 and 2. So those are early days, like 0 to 4 of parenting is just like super, a lot of energy, a lot of focus there. So yeah, that's my life looked like. I mean, it was, again, you ran when you could.
Yeah.
I was running with my brother a little bit. I enjoyed it, being around him, having someone to run with.
Yeah.
So my first few runs weren't by myself.
Yeah.
It was always with Cody, and Cody was already doing the stuff. He was already running up hills. He was already jogging with some weight on.
So you were chasing him.
Yeah, it wasn't me going out the door going, I'm gonna figure it out today. It was I had someone with me to kind of help me merge into that area.
There.
Yeah.
Now, what were like some of the initial benefits you noticed outside of running, like in your personal and professional life, that you noticed from the discipline of running?
Yeah, I mean, one, they both kind of came together at the same time.
Yeah.
Like when I got my break from working kind of a blue collar hard hat job to inside sales, which is in an office, that was the same time that I kind of made a conscious effort for volunteer suffering and growth mindset. Like I'm no longer doing the woe is me, everything's negative. If I don't shift my frame of mind, I'm always going to be in this place that I'm at, and I don't want that. Yeah. So running and that job shift kind of happened at the same time. I never thought about it until you asked, but yeah, I mean, it coincides. And it helped. I mean, that's just kind of how I got my foot started in running and kind of volunteer suffering. Like, I'm going to do something that I'm unsure of, and I think I can do it, and then maybe with a little luck, I'll get better at it. And the job was the same way. So I got that job. it was the same, like, yes, I'm scared, but that's okay. I'm going to figure this out. So the job and the running part did coincide now that I think back on it. And for obvious reasons, right? They're the same thing. You want comfort. You want to stay with what's known. And I just made a conscious decision that I'm not going to do that stuff anymore. So it went from weightlifting and basketball to running, and it went from a hard hat job to an office job. And again, that imposter syndrome again, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea if I can do this.
Yeah.
But I might as well figure it out because I don't think anybody else does either. So I might as well be like everybody else, right?
Yeah, you might as well just jump in.
Yeah, and it's helped even today, right? Even my running career has probably matched my career in professional career.
Kind of a linear progression, both.
Both. You do a little bit of that job, and you look at the next one and go, I think I can do that. And then you're lucky enough to grab it or do it, or you take time where it goes a different path, but you still get the next one, right? And then you're right back into chaos and learning and imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Do I know what the hell I'm doing? I'm not smart enough for this job. You look at the people around you, you're seeing different terminology, different operating systems, and different professional people. That's intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't belong here. And then after a few weeks, you build some confidence, you get some luck, and then you do it. Same with running. Knock out a 5K, keep doing 5Ks, and then you're competent, and then you're like, hey, maybe that 10K is obtainable. So yeah, this has kind of been, they've kind of mirrored each other now. Again, I've never really thought about it this way, but yeah, they've definitely mirrored each other.
Confidence is seeping through into your personal and professional life.
Yeah, you're like,
everywhere.
Yeah, and even professionally, it matched with my running.
Yeah.
I would advance professionally and they're like, all right, I can do that with my running. Now, it wasn't always just running to professional.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would excel somewhere professionally and that would help my running
boost
my confidence.
Kind of weaving in between each other.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like a mental thing too. You're like, it's just the mental confidence of, I can do this. I can figure it out. There was no obvious physical connection between career path and running. It's all a mental place of I can do this.
Yeah.
So, they definitely feed into each other back and forth, for me anyways.
At what point did you start paying attention to your miles, your time?
I would say when I started doing half marathons. I mean, every first 5K, 10K, half marathon, for me, every first event was, can I do it?
Yeah.
I really wasn't paying attention to the times. I was young, and a lot of the good advice I got early on, I didn't really take. Some I did and some I didn't. I was very lucky to have a lot of people talk to me, but there was some advice like, hey, you got to watch your heart rate.
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s. There's no reason to pay attention to my heart rate.
No.
I'll just max it right out. I wasn't even wearing a watch at the time, right?
You're in zone 5 or zone 6.
No idea.
Yeah, you're just.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, man, those things have changed. I lost track. What was the question that you asked?
Paying attention to your times.
Oh yeah. So I mean, maybe the watch has helped. Maybe that's when I started paying attention. But probably after my half marathon, because that was, for most runners, that's how you know you're a real runner, is when you start getting into the half marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do 5Ks, 10Ks. They're not anything to laugh at, and they are. They're very serious, and there's very good runners in that area. But after my half marathon, I started paying attention to what I was doing. Again, Strava helps.
Yeah.
You start having King of the Hills, and you start having segments. You start paying attention to stuff. So I started paying attention to my heart rate, started paying attention to my miles, and it was very important to me. So yeah, you start running for time, but it was a long time after I got into running. It was not right away. I did events because, again, like the gym membership. If I do the gym membership, I'm going to run. If I do the event, I'm going to run. And it transitioned away from that into I just want to run.
You just want to run.
And less events.
You don't need anything to work for anymore.
Right. Yeah. But maybe, again, after my half marathon in Charlotte, that's when I started paying attention to what does my heart rate look like? What does my miles look like?
You get into the science of things.
Yeah. Should I be having something to drink in a half marathon? Yes or no? And I was doing nothing. I would run 10 miles, 15 miles with nothing. No water, no nothing. I would just run around here and go. And there's other people who are like, you're bonkers, you're crazy. You don't have a gel with you, you don't have any water. I'm like, no, nothing. So yeah, the science of it. I've always been minimal science. Even marathons, I don't pack anything.
Yeah.
I really rely on the event to have goos and Gatorades. I'm a minimalist as far as that stuff. Again, it's like nutrition and stuff I've never been. But paying attention to my running, I would say with with like the running part, it was after my half marathon when I actually kind of considered myself a serious runner. I was taking it serious. I had better training. It was more consistent. And then after COVID, it was just me, and it was just Strava, and you could really pay attention because everyone was getting really active, right?
Yeah.
So Strava probably helps quite a bit. So I would say those two things, Strava, and after my half marathon in COVID, when I really started running a lot, I wanted to know how fast was I going up the hill. What was my fastest mile time? What was my fastest segment or whatever? That was when I started paying attention.
At what point in running was your half marathon? How many years have you been doing it? Say from your first event to
I would say 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years in. So again, Harbor Days, 5K to Charlevoix Half Marathon, at least 3 or 4 years. And I had a really good mentor at EJ in my office. He'd run Boston Marathon and he was really good with advice. So, that half marathon at the time, I thought, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Ran my half marathon, I'm done.
You hit the ceiling.
Hit the ceiling. It's all over with. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for that. And little did I know that was like the beginning of.
And how old were you started running? Was it, you said late 20s?
Yeah, late 20s. So by that time, I'm probably in my early 30s.
Mid 30s.
Yeah.
You're running your first half marathon.
Yeah. Yeah. And first marathon, I'm in my late 30s. So my first marathon, I'm 38 or 39. So again, that right? I mean, and. COVID is sandwiched in between there. And COVID was great because it was just 3 years of just running.
Yeah.
There's no events, nothing to so I had to really fall in love with running for myself. It wasn't an event, it wasn't timed. You just went outside to be outside.
Yeah.
And that's so there's times I pay attention to my runs, and again, I've gotten away from paying attention to my mile times.
Yeah.
Now there's times I do because I'm learning a lot about how to keep my body guessing. But there's a lot of times I don't really pay attention to my mile.
Was it like when you decided to do a half marathon? Was it like a natural progression?
Yeah.
Or was it like something you consciously said that you?
No, totally progression. Totally 5K, 10K. Charlevoix Marathon. I ran the 5K 1 year. Yeah. The next year I ran the 10K. The year after that, I think I ran the half marathon.
So when you're doing your first 5K, you're not thinking I'm going to do a half marathon someday.
No, I was wearing basketball shoes and basketball shorts, and I have no idea if I'm going to do this tomorrow. Is this the one and only time? I've got no clue. People are passing me. I'm passing people. I have no idea if it's going to be a 10K later on down the road. Charlevoix was kind of like that event was, okay, 5K. Oh, there's a 10K and a half marathon and a marathon. But I'd never dreamed of doing either of the two. So when I was running 5Ks, half marathon and marathon was never in my sight or even a question.
Yeah, it sounds like it was kind of calculated, though. I mean, you're just a calculated person. I mean, there's a lot of people that just jump into these things.
Yeah, I'm doing them, but again, like my 5K, there's no way that you're telling me that I'm going to run 10 plus miles ever.
It's a one-time thing.
Absolutely, yeah, if I do it. And again, the first marathon was like that, or half marathon. I did a half marathon, like that's it. That's it. I'll never do 13 miles by myself, in northern Michigan. And
had you done 13 miles before that?
Countless times now.
Yeah,
countless.
Before that, though, had you done 13?
No. What
was your ceiling before your first half marathon?
That was it. I mean, maybe 10 miles,
10 miles.
Yeah, so mile 10, I hit the wall. The half marathon in Charlevoix for me has been my hardest run. That's where I learned the most about me. I passed the turnaround point for the 10Ks.
Yeah.
And I was in my head thinking, oh, this is usually where I turn around for the 10K, but I still have 7 more miles left. Yeah. And it totally got in my head. And I had to figure it out. So mile 9, 10 is horrible, and then you get over it, and then it's going to be fine. And then mile 11, 12, and 13 were fantastic. Yeah. So the confidence after the half marathon maybe is what really helped me the most. I went through it mentally. The 5K and 10K happened so fast that you're not going into mental struggles.
No.
The half marathon for me was the first time that I mentally had to go through it and came out the other side.
You're out there for over an hour. I mean,
Yeah.
And what was that? So you ran 10 miles. What was that 3 miles of the unknown like? Was it fine?
Horrible. I mean, awful. Yeah. I mean, I literally had my thought after passing the turnaround point, and I'm still going, and you're competitive, and you're running with a group of people, and they left me, right? Because my heart rate got out of control. When you mentally lose control, your heart rate loses control, and you don't stay in the saddle. You don't stay in the zone. And Charlevoix is right along 31 there.
Yeah, it's flat.
It's flat, but
There's
mentally,
no downhills.
I had an out.
Yeah.
I thought about stopping the half marathon
Yeah.
and just leaving the course.
Yeah.
And I can walk back to my car.
Yeah.
No one will know. No one will care.
No.
But I'm going to stop. I don't want to go through the mental part of 10 through 13. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So that was by far the hardest part for me, was the first time mentally going through it. Yeah, during the time, I remember hating it and it being awful and uncomfortable. And instantly, again, we talk about our mind, right, that wants to take the easy way. Our mind just wants to do the easy thing.
Yeah.
You had to put your foot down and go, no, we're not doing the easy way.
They call it type 2 fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then that was it. I mean, it was a conscious decision that I'm going to stay in this horrible, suffering mental part and physical. You're telling yourself everything by that point, right?
Yeah.
It's too hot out. You're sweating too much. This person passed you. Your heart rate's, exploding. Just give up. And you have to make a conscious effort to not. Years after that, this is what you look forward to.
Yeah.
You're searching for when can I have that mental
The struggle
breakdown.
is the high right there.
Yeah, exactly. It turns in.
The other side of that is what's great.
And what's cool about it is it's volunteered. You're not doing it at an event. I'm doing this on a Thursday afternoon, trying to find that struggle
You're chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
You're always looking for that challenge, because the other side of that challenge, you already know it's there.
Pot of gold's there, man. That's the treasure chest.
The first time you do that challenge, you don't know it's there, and it's scary. But once you start getting used to it,
well, and that dragon was the biggest then too, right? That half marathon, my dragon's so big and so daunting, but the reward was so big, right? That going through it and being, able to complete that half marathon, going through the dragon, facing the dragon, and getting the treasure at the end. That made every other dragon seem more and more obtainable. Every time I got to that mental part of, having to do this, it just became more obtainable to what I can do suffering upstairs.
Yeah.
So that half marathon was, a huge, now that I talk about it, I've never really realized it again, was a huge turning point for me for upstairs stuff.
Yeah, that gave you the confidence for the
absolutely.
future.
Yeah.
Was it after completing that, I need to do a marathon now?
No. So half marathon to marathon is maybe 6-7 years in between.
Okay, yeah.
Again, COVID hits, and I just fall in love with just being outdoors in northern Michigan. And I've done some other interviews, and you can't get me to leave this place. So I kind of fell in love with just running and biking, mountain biking, gravel biking, paddling, anything that I can do that's outdoors, but especially running.
Yeah.
So no, half marathon to marathon, huge time gap there. There's basketball involved again, kind of found myself playing more basketball. But no, so that the progression kind of stopped after half marathon. Again, maybe at half marathon, I thought this is it for me as far as an event. I never thought 5K to 10K was what I looked at was easily obtainable, made sense. 10K to half marathon still made sense.
Yeah.
Half marathon to marathon, to me, did not make any sense. It's so much further. 13 to 26, and the suffering that I endured for the half marathon, I could not fathom that at the time.
You couldn't do it again after.
No, and again, maybe it's career, maybe it's friends, maybe it's doing gravel biking and mountain biking that helped me mentally go, hey, I want that next challenge, a marathon.
Everything's working together to boost confidence.
I think I can do it. Yeah, because again, 8 years, I have at least 6 or 7 years between half marathon to marathon.
And growing up around here, you saw these people on bikes, or you saw people running, and you saw all this going on, and you're like, why are these people coming here and do this?
Yeah.
Why are all these people doing this? And then once you start doing it yourself, you're like, this is exactly why, it's an amazing spot to be able to do any of these
When
things.
you find those people too, right? Like we've all kind of found each other, at least for us, like me, you, Corbin, Darren.
Yeah.
You find each other because we're all kind of doing this. We're all searching for the same dragon. We're all searching to find a little peace out in nature, have a little alone time, therapy, right? But we're also chasing the dragon of doing hard shit all the time, whether it be career or kind of athletic, physical action. We've all found each other. You do the same thing career-wise. Career-wise, you find people who want to do the same thing. They're not okay with the status quo. They don't want to be lumped in doing the same 5K over and over and over and just call it a day. These are people that are looking for other things. Same thing with with you guys. It's the same. Again, maybe that change of 13, half marathon to a marathon, and me thinking about doing a marathon was having a group like that.
Yeah.
Make it obtainable for you, or at least put it in perspective
And
for
I can
you.
say for right now, for me being partially disabled, forcing myself to do all these difficult things in the past has paid off right now, because I'm kind of in a difficult situation, not by choice right now, but having all those experiences have really helped guide me through what I've been going through. So it does help in other aspects of your life, and you learn a lot doing that.
Oh, and we talked about this earlier, kind of pre-interview. That volunteer suffering, you're going to get suffering whether you like it or not on down the road, and you're not going to choose it. So you might as well choose your suffering that you can do right now.
Yeah.
And you did a lot of it. I mean, you chose really hard things on a gravel bike and running and doing those things that were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And, same thing, like I said, we joke about it, but it's serious. The stuff with your mom, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you go through that mentally. You'd already been through hard mental stuff.
Yeah.
You knew how to be composed, dialed in, take your notes, and then do what's needed to do the thing.
Keep moving.
And now, again, same thing. It doesn't shock me at all that you've had this really refreshing, I'm not sure refreshing is the right word, but I'm trying to capture just how proud I am of your mental state of mind to handle what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's people who can, I think about all the time, like, could I have handled it like Shane? Probably not. There's going to be some woe is me days in there, and I'm going to need some people to help me out.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it's all the hard shit that you've done before was prep for this. And if you can do volunteer suffering before the real suffering comes in, it's going to make it easier, man. And it makes life obtainable. It's just easier to handle that thing. Not that it's easy. It's hard.
When you're out there running or on a bike and you're in the middle of it, you don't really have a choice. You got to, you just got to keep going.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Well, again, I think sometimes you do have choices. For you're telling yourself you didn't have a choice. You probably thought that way. I don't have a choice. I'm going up this icy, snowy, shitty gravel hill. I don't have a choice. I told myself I have a choice all the time.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I love agency. Like, I'm in control of what I do.
Yeah.
And I still do this to this day. I had it at the half marathon, but I still do it today. I can tell myself right now, if I'm not enjoying my run, I can turn around right now and go home. But I've got the option.
Yeah.
I can either finish my run or I can turn around. But I'm going to choose to finish this.
You like the feeling of the discipline.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm in control of, but I'm going to give myself options too.
Yeah.
I can quit. I can go home. I can stop right now and walk and call my wife and have her come pick me up.
Yeah.
Or I can choose to keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah. For me, I liked options, but for you, it sounded like there is no options, right?
No options.
I'm doing the hard thing.
Yeah, I have to do it.
Yeah.
What's the first half of a marathon look like?
The first half, my first marathon, the first half was all like survivability.
That's right. That's your strategy, is survivability.
Just I'd known enough about it. So my first marathon, physically, I'm probably in the best place I've ever been, strength-wise, cardio-wise. And, for that first marathon, I've been doing gravel biking, I've been playing basketball, I've been mountain biking, I've been lifting. So, like, I am the deepest, most well-rounded athlete I've ever been.
Yeah.
So, but this marathon for me was still a monster. The first half was all about management. I'd known enough to watch my heart rate. I'd known enough to watch my pace. I had talked to enough people, and I had a strategy of how I was going to do this thing. I was not breaking my 9-minute pace.
Yeah.
No matter how good I felt, no matter how bad I felt, I'm sticking to the 9-minute pace.
You're not going any faster, no slower. You're going to stick through that.
Yeah, so that was my strategy. The hardest part of my first marathon is the first 6 steps. It's at Sleeping Bear Dunes, and it's raining. And my first 6 steps, my feet are soaked.
Yeah.
It's raining, it's low 40s. I had a raincoat with me and some gloves, and thank God I brought my gloves. I was kind of thinking about, I'm a minimalist.
Yeah.
I don't like gloves on. Thank God I had my gloves. It was brutal. You're running with your hood on most of the time, with your hat. It's raining. My feet are soaked in the first 6 steps. So the first half of my marathon was sticking to my strategy, but it was also getting past that mental hurdle of having sweat-soaked feet. And this is the hardest thing I've ever done, and now I've got wet feet to boot. It's like, talk about like mentally going through it. But my first mile, I'm dealing with how wet my feet are, and I don't want to deal with it for 25 miles. Like, who wants to run 26 miles in soaking wet feet?
Yeah.
So that was the first half of my first marathon. Marathon 2 and 3, all about speed. Being comfortable my first 2 or 3 miles.
Hard.
And then doing the things I want to do. Yep. So marathon 2 and 3 was Bayshore and Charlevoix, very flat.
Yeah.
So those first half those marathons was all about speed, making sure that my heart rate was good, but making sure that after 3 miles, I left the group and did the pace that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Last marathon was first half of the marathon is just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. It's Bayshore, great event, super flat. Enjoy the people around you. Enjoy yourself. I had a lot of conversations on that one. I ran with a couple guys for maybe 13, 14 miles of the 26.
Yeah.
So each marathon has been a little bit different, but none harder than the first one with wet feet.
And was it noticeably after your first marathon, the correlation between work, personal life, kind of mixing in, blending in with your achievements?
Yeah. And again, like maybe, the marathon to me was more about being a dynamic athlete and being in shape and healthy mentally and physically. You know, having guys like you and Corbin and Darren and building that confidence way more than career. They had intertwined before, but at that point of doing marathons, they were kind of separate. I had enough confidence in either one of them that they didn't need to intertwine. I didn't need to use my career, professional or personal life, or what I was doing as a dad or a husband or anything like that. I didn't need it. I had enough confidence in each area, or I didn't have to use the other one. So yeah, my first marathon, career-wise, I mean, I'm moving along nicely at EJ and performing at a high level, but I didn't think of it as the momentum I had when I started running and I started my career at EJ. That had serious momentum, and they were kind of linked together. These had drifted apart more, I would say.
Yeah, it was running parallel at that point.
I would say as a father, as a husband, my first marathon was super emotional for me because my family would go with me to Charlevoix to prep for it. They would get on their bikes. I'd go up to the trail and run, 18 miles, and they'd bike it with me.
Oh, wow.
And it was that was in my mind in the first marathon. Was I could see my family at the finish line. Like I knew I was running to that. But them doing that with me, their support, big deal. And again, I think that's what's changed. The 5K, I was by myself with my brother. 10Ks, 13, half marathon, I'm kind of by myself. And the marathon, I didn't feel like I was by myself. The marathons, I've always thought I was with somebody, particularly my family. So maybe it was, I'm obviously not the best version of myself yet, or the best version of me being a husband or a father or a son, but I think there is probably a lot of growth there that coincides not professionally, but personally in my life that was with the marathon, the first marathon. They were probably more together than the career part.
Your kids play sports? They run it all?
So I always joked I had a time in my life where I didn't see much use for organized sports in high school. I just thought, for me personally, it got in my way of growing as a person. It kept me as Peter Pan. I could just keep playing sports and not confront life and studying. And you're going pro in life, you're not going pro in any sport. But again, I loved sports. So I had asked, while Paige was pregnant for our kid to be kind of a nerd. Like I just wanted him to fall in love with reading and not play sports, and I didn't think there was much utility for it. Now I've since changed. I've learned that sports is a microcosm of life and it's super healthy. But I got my wish. Sawyer is not into sports at all. Sawyer is very much Harry Potter, Dungeons and Dragons, graphic art design. He wants to create, wants to work with his hands. He's into theater, he's into youth and government. So not a lot of sports. So we have to force Sawyer to play a team sport because that's your best microcosm of life. That's the best way you can learn about yourself and a team and networking. Sayla is for sure. Sayla has a really good group of friends, and she plays soccer and she plays volleyball. She's very good at both. I'm not sure if she's going to, you try and help your kids out as fast as possible. She's a really good athlete, and she's trying and making leaps and bounds and getting really good. So Sawyer, no sports. Sayla, a lot of sports, and she's going to be pretty good.
This first marathon you ran, had you run 26 miles before?
No, but I was much more prepared than the half marathon.
Yeah.
And any other event before that. So the seriousness of the marathon to me was very serious.
Yeah.
Preparation, I had a plan. At the time I had a physical trainer. I'd got a pretty serious injury that stopped me running basically and forced me to weightlift and bike. And this physical trainer kind of gave me a plan. So I was following a plan of miles and pace and all this stuff. So no, as far as running 26 miles, no, it was my first time.
What was your highest mileage?
20 miles.
20 miles.
So we were doing these long runs, and they would schedule these long runs, right? Once a week in this program, you're going to do a long run. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
Saturday, you're going to do a short run. Sunday is going to do a long run. And you start doing them at higher paces, right? Whatever your marathon pace should be. So again, I didn't have a marathon pace. I just wanted to get the 20 miles out. So before my first marathon, 20 miles was the longest distance that I had done, foot, bike.
Yeah.
Anything that was powered by my own 2 feet, that was 20 miles before that. So
what did it look like, 20 miles and above? What was that like for the first time?
So again, with the training, they were really specific on not going over 20 miles. And the thought with that is, and we had discussed this pre-interview, anything over 20, 22 miles, that's where your body starts to fail. So if you don't consume any calories, that's where 22 miles, your body will crash. And then it's up to you mentally. The last 20% of the marathon is just mental. So now so much has changed because you're taking goo and you're taking Gatorade. So you do have calories, but the mental part is still there. The physical part is still really hard at 20 miles. So the training, a lot of people's thought behind training for a marathon is there's no reason to run over 20 miles if you're training. You're just going to hurt your legs and hurt your body. It's not healthy to run a marathon.
No.
It's really hard your internal, all your organs and stuff shouldn't be that hot for that long of time.
Yeah.
So it's not great for you. So 20 miles was kind of a recommended thing, and that's what I did. That's what was recommended to me. So the max distance I ran is 20 miles. So 20 to 26 is the great unknown. And for the half marathon, my great unknown was maybe 2 or 3 miles, 10 to 12. I was trying to mentally figure it out. Running past that turnaround point for the 10K was when I had to start figuring things. But it's a short time frame.
Yeah.
With a marathon, 20 to 26 miles, you still got a 10K in front of you.
Yeah.
And mentally, you're aware of all of this. 6 miles is not a quick,
no.
I'll figure it out.
At one point, you're chasing 6 miles. You're just trying to run 6 miles.
You're trying to do anything mentally to tell yourself you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But that amount of suffering was 10 times as much as the half marathon.
Yeah.
The half marathon was pretty condensed, not a lot of suffering. It was hard for me, but it wasn't a long period of time.
Yeah.
Marathon 20 to 26 can be really, really grueling, especially for your first marathon. You are going through all of the thoughts, all of the feelings. For me, I was lucky, again, so many good people that talked to me about what to expect. I knew that 20 to 22 was bonk. 18 to 22 is where people would bonk. So that's where people would cramp, they would stop, they would anything. If you're going to have any difficulties physically, it's going to be 18 to 22. Yeah, and that's where it gets hard mentally, it gets hard physically, and I had so many younger people that I had talked to that already done marathons where it happened. I would talk to them about it, and they would bonk at 22.
Yeah.
And they went from running 7-minute miles to 10-minute miles to 12-minute miles because you're basically cramping, walking, running, cramping, walking, running, cramping, and you never stay away from it. So again, as soon as so 20 to 26 between the ears, physically, for a marathon was a level above everything that I had ever done. Yeah. Anything, career-wise, personal, I had never had something that hard for me.
That was the most difficult thing for you.
100%. So first marathon was a lot of in between the ears. But again, I felt like I was physically my best. But again, maybe professionally, husband-wise, mentally, father, I was the most durable I've ever been.
Yeah.
So it didn't scare me at all. The 20 to 26 didn't frighten me. I just knew it was going to come, and I knew I kind of got in this habit of, I've never said this before, I've gotten in the habit of when I know something tough is coming up, like if I run past something and I know I'm going to come back to it,
Yeah.
I'll point at it and let it know I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Coming back.
Come back. I'll see you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I knew that at mile 20 of my first marathon. So when I had gotten to you actually run by mile 20.
Yeah.
So you go out and you go by it, and then you come back again. So when I was running by it at like mile 3 or 4, I pointed at mile 20, like, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
I'll be back. And I know it's gonna be tough, but I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, like mentally, I'm telling myself, I'm already durable, right? I'm already gonna get to this mile 20,
Yeah.
and I know what to expect, and I know it's gonna be hard, but I've seen it, and I've got the advice, I've gotten the mental part, the physical part. I've got this is the best I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I think my best can do this. The last thing I did for that first marathon at mile 20, I had a mental conference with all my personalities.
Yeah.
Right? I had a board meeting with everyone and how I'm going to finish these next 6 miles. You're going to do it by doing what you did to get here, which is 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You're not going to trick yourself with this 10K or only 6 miles. You're not going to pay attention to mile markers either. And you're going to let go of your phone. You're just going to let the 6 miles be. Just let it be. Don't look at the pace. Don't look at anything. Just I'm going to have a conference with myself. I can see my family at the end of the line.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let the next 6 miles be the next 6 miles.
You stopping at checkpoints during the marathons?
No. I'm a not stop guy. I've
Yeah.
never walked. I've been very lucky with health. I've never had to stop and walk.
Yeah.
I've never had to stop and catch my breath or do something. I've never had a cramp. So even my first marathon, I would go by the stations, pick up a pack and a goo or a Gatorade and take a quick swig and dump the cup and keep going.
Keep going.
But there was no breaks involved. There was no walking or jogging. I mean, it was all a run.
Outside of the marathons and the 5Ks, have you competed? Have you done anything else? Have you done trail running? Have you done any other events?
Yeah. Ragnar runs.
Yeah. What's a Ragnar?
A Ragnar run is basically a relay race with a group of 8 or 12. I mean, they have different parts. You can do all male, all female, mixed.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 trail Ragnars and 1 road Ragnar, all in northern Michigan. The trails are in Grayling at one of their ski hills, if I get the name now. And the road run was from Traverse City to Muskegon.
Okay.
You do segment runs. It's not as long of a distance as a marathon, but it's a different type of suffering in the aspect of you don't know when you're going to run. So if we're a team and you're running, I now know I'm next. So you're running a 6 mile leg. I get to the end of your leg, get ready to run, but I don't know when you're going to finish. I don't know where you are. It could be 8 a.m. It could be 2 a.m. It could be 8 p.m. You don't know when you're going to run your stretch, right? You have no idea. I mean, you can think about it and try and prep for it.
Yeah.
But the hardest part of the Ragnars was you're going to run a stretch, maybe the hardest stretch of a trail run or a road run. You're going to run 10 miles outside of Ludington at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's mentally, your body's going, we don't like this, right? But that's the usual.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the Ragnars, I had already physically and mentally done stuff that I just told myself, like, you're going to be fine.
You're going to do it.
You're going to wake up at 1 a.m., you're going to stretch and get warmed up, and then you're going to wait for someone to come to a thing at a tent at 1:30 in the morning, and then you're going to go run your 8 mile trail run in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I've never done it before. I've never ran with headgear. I never ran with lights.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of trail running before, right? My longest trail runs at Road Ragnar, which is kind of fun, right? By that point, by the time I've done the Ragnars, I'm now searching for the dragons. I'm not like, I don't want to do the hard things. I'm now looking for stuff.
You're looking for something else.
It's the thrill. The thrill of the Ragnars has really been something. I've really enjoyed each of the 3 Ragnars that I've done. They've both been great. The weather hasn't always been perfect, but there's points in the Ragnars where I've been able to run and go through so many things. I've got the range now to stop myself and appreciate. Like lately, the last few years when I'm running, especially in the fall, I'll just stop myself when I'm running and appreciate the colors or appreciate the breeze and listen to the trees. And there's been times too at the Ragnar where I'm running by myself in the middle of the night and I'm outside of Ludington, and I can hear the waves of Lake Michigan running.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, this is it. This
Yeah.
is, I'm. It's not about focusing on running or focusing on my heart rate. It's about enjoying the moment, and it's about, I've already done the hard stuff. It's about enjoying where you are to get to that hard spot,
Being
right?
there.
You've done so many hard things. Not many people get to enjoy those moments of doing those hard things. So
Yeah.
that's where I think Ragnar has been different than the marathon. They've been tough, but it's a different tough. It's not a physical grueling tough. It's more of a mental tough. But
Did the training process for Ragnar, did you do anything different?
I did. I got out to trails and started running trails. So I've always kind of been a road guy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't run a lot in high school.
Yeah.
I've got fresh legs.
Yeah.
So running on pavement for me is pretty easy. My hips, my knees have low miles. I always say I'm like a 1996 Ford Explorer
Yeah.
with like 10,000 miles on
Yeah.
it. So I got an old chassis and an old engine, but I don't have any miles on me. So that was pretty easy. But yeah, the change of training, I just like being prepared enough to know what I'm doing. Trail running is way different than road running. In road running, my analogy that I can put forward is, in road running, you can put it in cruise control.
Yeah.
Mentally, you can check out and go to a place, and physically, you just stay in the same posture.
You're not going to trip over a root or not.
No roots, no soft sand, no sharp corner, no quick dive down with soft sand. So again, cruise control. You don't have to think about what my feet is going to hit. The only thing I got to think about really is this hill that I'm going up. Trail running, I wanted to get a hold of that. I wanted to run at Glacial. I ran at NST in Central Lake, North Street Trail, and not just one couple loops. You're running, 5, 6, 7 loops.
Yeah.
Because the hardest part of trail running is when you're tired, you drag your feet, and when you drag your feet, you hit a rut, and then you go ass over apple cart, right?
Yeah.
So that was, to me, that was the fear which I liked about Ragnar, of like pushing myself in those different directions.
Yeah.
I can't just glide my feet and expect to just not hit a rut. When you're tired, you need to consciously be aware of where you're running. And now you're gonna do it at night at 2 o'clock in the morning. So you put your headlamp on, and you're like, I can't, this is not what I signed up for. But that was the exact hard stuff that I was looking forward to. So training for the Ragnar was more about the physical part than the hydration or eating, because there's a camp at each Ragnar. So there's plenty of food. There's plenty of, you could camp, tent, sleep. It was all pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
The physical part of hitting soft sand or turning on a trail, making a hard right, or hitting a rut, that was the mental part for me. So the physical part was different for Ragnar as opposed to marathons.
Do you think you learned anything about yourself competing with the team than opposed to running solo?
Yeah, the evolution of me playing in high school sports was all team sports, and I was not a great person to be around.
Yeah.
I wasn't a great teammate. I wasn't a great leader. I was either selfish, or I was mean, or expectations of myself were unrealistic, which made expectations of other people unrealistic. When I started running, it was nice because I had nobody else to fault but me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a selfish endeavor. It really is.
It is.
But, my philosophy, I think we've talked about this before, is if you're going to help your wife or your family or your parents, you've got to be good first.
Yeah.
So running was nice because I got to figure out me. I got to figure out me mentally, physically, as a father. And then as a father and a husband, you got to start giving yourself away a little bit and getting your team to elevate to where you want to be. So I kind of reverse engineered it. I was a very selfish team player. I became, I think, a pretty good person to be around running. And the first thing I remember about running was how nice everyone was to help you.
Yeah.
At my first 5K, I passed somebody, and they said, "Nice job, man, keep it up." I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Oh, with bikes too, everybody's super supportive. And
I'd never been around that.
Yeah.
I'd only been around competitive sports where everyone's trying to kill each other competitively. And there's only smack talk, and there's only something to get you off your game.
Yeah.
The people I was competing against was running. We weren't competing against each other. We were doing it together.
Yeah.
So running became this together thing. And then with you and Corbin and Darren, it became this bike thing that we did together. And you did it together.
Yeah.
And there's times where someone's way ahead of us, right? There's times where you distance yourself or Darren distanced himself. But I had kind of learned to be a good teammate by getting myself right by running. And that confidence that maybe I gathered from running and career helped me go, okay, this is the best version of me. How now do I get other people to those areas?
Elevate other people.
Yeah, and that's where, whether it be coaching now or playing basketball or career-wise, I consider myself a leader. Is I think I'm pretty good now at elevating people.
Yeah.
And it's either motivating them or talking them through something or sharing advice. Where I used to give people advice, I don't do it anymore. If you want to know my opinion, I'll do it. But it's more of, I'm going to help my family and my wife and my parents and my friends by supporting them and encouraging them. That's going to be the best way to elevate people.
Yeah.
And again, it was reverse engineered. So again, I hope now I'm a pretty good teammate. I hope now I'm a pretty good husband, and I elevate people around me and my friends. That's, I think, one of the most important things to me right now, professionally, personally, is doing that. Being able to be a person of value to get the team up. It doesn't need to be me here and team here. Whatever it takes for me to get the team to go up, I'll do it, whatever that role is. And I had to get myself right first. I mean, maybe the confidence from running has allowed me to now have the range to help other people.
When you started gaining miles, did you have to change things in your workout routines? Did you add workouts?
Absolutely, yeah. There's an allocation of time, right? You're just, and everyone has this. You know, I just talked to someone last night, and I was like, "Hey, how things going with running?" And you look like you've been busy. He's like, "Yeah, I haven't been running at all, and I haven't been doing any jiu-jitsu because I've just been working." And hunting comes up, and I love hunting. So I just know I'm going to sacrifice October, November for hunting, and the other things go down. Well, for me, it's running. I was playing a lot of basketball this past year, and as soon as the weather got nice in June and July, I'm running. And everything else goes away. Now, I've learned I have to weightlift. If you don't weightlift, you're going to run too much, and you deteriorate muscle, and you're going to hurt yourself. So I forced myself to weightlift. But man, when it's June, July, August in northern Michigan, and in the fall right now, it's my most fun time. So that's where my miles go up, and everything else kind of goes down, right? In the winter, miles go down, walking goes up with snowshoeing with the dogs, and then weightlifting goes up. So I mean, there's a seasonality, I guess, behind it.
So did HIIT class?
Yeah, HIIT class. I like I said, for me, what I think helps me the most mentally, physically, is being a challenged, dynamic athlete. And I've learned this recently with Mike Richardson. Been so blessed to have him in the area. And he goes, "Well, how do you do your runs?" I go, "I just go outside and wherever I go, right? If I go east, I'm going to Corbin's. If I go west, I'm going up Dean Hill. If I go south, I'm going to do a flat run on intermediate." And he's like, "You're not doing any segments in there? You're not mixing any speed things?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, you should. Like, you should be tricking your body." So I've applied that this whole summer, and it's helped me a ton. I mean, my VO2, my heart rate has all went down. My VO2 has been up because I'm not just running my 5 miles at an 8-minute pace or a 7-minute pace. I'll do an 8:30 pace and then run a 6-minute mile 3, jog mile 4, and then run a 6-minute mile 5. And the next run, I'll run hard mile 1, mile 2, and then low mile 4, 5, 6. So integrating what I do with my runs now has kind of kept the evolution of me running going. So tricking my body to me is a big deal. HIIT class, it's always a trick. You're never doing the same stuff. You're either doing different workouts or different time segments that always keeps my body guessing. So that to me is probably one of the, my standard foundation of me right now. I say I'm a runner, I say I'm an athlete. It's tricking my body to stay in
more
those.
the unknown.
Yep, there is no automated HIIT class. There is no automated 5 miles anymore. There's times I just do a 5-mile run and I'm done. But mostly it's like, okay, I'm going to go to Dean Hill and I'm sprinting Dean Hill and I'm going to sprint mile 4 because I know that's kind of an incline too. Where it used to be just do Dean Hill.
Just do it.
So yeah, a little bit more of a conscious effort to change what I'm doing on a consistent effort. And again, maybe it's the range. Maybe it's you get bored sometimes. Maybe it's you just want to keep chasing the dragon. You just want to get better. It's not fun to sprint mile 3 when you've never sprinted mile 3 before. Like, no one wants to run a 6-minute mile after running 2 8-minute miles, right? So that's been refreshing. And like I said, we've talked about before, it's all a conscious decision. Like for you, I'm going up the hill. there's no other. That's hard.
Yeah.
Like you could choose to do a flat course. You can miss hills all you want.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the hill, and it's not a decision. For me, it's an option. You don't have to do a 6-minute mile 3. You can just jog the thing, and it can be easy.
Yeah.
But no, I've made a conscious effort lately to do those things. I don't have to get up and go to HIIT class. Wake up and go to HIIT class.
Do you notice these conscious efforts bleeding into your personal life or your professional life?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I just switched jobs recently. So 2 or 3 months ago, I switched from working at EJ to Ignite Design.
You've been at EJ for
in
years.
14 years at EJ. Super comfortable. Big ship, right? They're like, the big super carrier. It's its own city. It's self-service. It doesn't need anything else to operate. If someone leaves the super carrier, that doesn't change the direction of how that community is functioning, which is great. And I'm so grateful for EJ. And I don't have enough good things to say about the family, the Malpas family, the whole thing. I've learned everything there professionally. So again, like running or being challenging myself coincided with my career path at EJ.
So, because the changing jobs, is that like your last 6 miles of the marathon?
Yeah, that's it, exactly. Again, I haven't thought about it that way, but now that we're talking about it, for sure, it's there's fear, there's the great unknown. It's the biggest dragon that I've ever faced.
Yeah.
I mean, knocking down marathons was a cinch as compared to telling some certain managers at EJ that I'm leaving, or even making the decision. Getting to that decision is just like getting to the decision of the marathon. I didn't think I'd ever have to get to that point.
Yeah.
But I'm to this point now where I need to challenge myself.
Yeah.
And I got to make a decision. Do I want to challenge myself and do the marathon, or do I not? Do I want to challenge myself and leave EJ, or do I not? I got to make a decision and live with it. So that was a very conscious decision for me of challenging myself. But yeah, career-wise, professionally, it's mile 20. I hope right now I'm in mile 22 and 23. I hope I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think as we discussed earlier, I feel right now I'm either useless or incompetent, but I'm gaining confidence every week.
Yeah.
I'm gaining my systems. I'm building confidence in myself to know what I'm doing, just like running, just like mountain biking, just like HIIT class. I'm going to do the hard thing. I've never done it before, but I've got enough confidence in my tool set that I'm going to figure this thing out. There's enough relatable things where it's kind of the opposite of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's imposter syndrome while you're doing it and you feel overwhelmed and stupid. But what got me there was the confidence that I can figure it out. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy there. I have so much confidence in myself that I'm going to figure it out. And same thing with like running and career. When I was going to change career and change jobs, there's fear there with your family.
Yeah.
It's not just me, but my family was there, just like the marathon. Like my wife and kids were right next to me, and there was family and friends that were right next to me, just like they'd always been.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a marathon. All right, well, we'll train with you. Hey, I'm switching jobs. Okay, what do you need from us?
Yeah.
Once again, I've never thought of it like that, but it's coincided once again. They cross paths for sure.
Second half of the marathon, what's it look like?
Second half of my first marathon.
Is it called a positive split when you have a faster second half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first marathon, second half, my feet are still wet, but I've far surpassed the mental barrier of wet feet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to survive it. I'm running 9-minute paces. The hardest part for me was the dog days of the marathon. I'm by myself.
Yeah.
It's only me between my ears. And that's when the miles can really drag on when it's just you. So like if you just drive to Grand Rapids by yourself, you only have you and your podcast or your audiobook or your music, and it can get boring.
Yeah.
And you start looking at the mile markers and seeing where you are, and it just drags on. That first marathon, the second half for me felt like forever. And it wasn't just the 20 to 26, it was the 12 to 20 that just went forever. I was getting passed. I was being passed by people that, in my eyes, I'm being judgy here, that the way they looked shouldn't be passing me.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me mentally. Like, no, you're not going to chase this person. You're going to stay at your 9-minute pace. It just felt forever. Marathon 2, Marathon 3, I ran for speed, and Marathon 2 is at Bayshore, and everything went right.
Yeah.
I mean, I did everything right. I just got lucky that it only took me one marathon to kind of find my strategy, my process. I don't know if I had negative splits in Marathon 2, but I was in the high 7-minute average, maybe 7:45 miles was my average mile for that. Didn't bonk, no breaks, hydration was perfect, weather was great. So Marathon 2, part of the 2, I don't remember at all because you're so engaged with your watch and your time and your pace that there was no dog days. There was no long time periods of Marathon 2.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being hard. I don't remember it being difficult. I don't remember much of Marathon 2. I remember Marathon 3 very well because Marathon 3 was 2 weeks after Marathon 2. So I ran the Bayshore, and then 2 weeks later I'd run Charlevoix. Back to back, which is, again, not the best idea if you're talking to people who train for marathons. And I'd gotten into Bayshore. I had been signed up for Charlevoix. So Charlevoix is kind of my plan to run my fastest marathon.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could do better than Bayshore. So I was like, hey, Charlevoix, I want to enjoy myself. I'm just going to have fun. I've learned so much. I'll never run faster than Bayshore, ever. So I go to Charlevoix, run Marathon 3, and it's my fastest marathon. And I had negative splits. So second half of Marathon 3, I'm knocking down miles now, and I felt I'm not surviving the marathon. I'm going after the marathon. I'm in control. I'm telling the marathon what I'm going to do for the first time. So you have an incline at the Charlevoix Marathon, and I ran it in 7:10. And I was kind of thinking 8-minute splits was going to be what I was going to do for the Charlevoix Marathon. And I ran a 7:10, and I felt fantastic. And I said, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it. So I negative splits the whole second half of that marathon. And I remember passing people, probably like I got passed in my first marathon. It might have broken them, but it gave me confidence. So I'm mowing people down. I'm running faster. Marathon 3, I run a 6:58 mile 26. So my only 6-minute mile of a marathon. So Marathon 3, second half of the marathon, piece of cake. I remember it being fast. I remember listening to a certain song, Phil Collins, Take Me Home. That was kind of my guide into the last stretch of the Charlevoix Marathon. And that's my best marathon today. So I think I ran 7:15 miles is my average. My last marathon that I did this past spring at Bayshore, the second half of the marathon was pretty grueling. I wasn't the best prepared for it, but it was one of the easier ones in regards of I didn't think of it a whole lot because I was running with people. So I was having a conversation. So like as I said earlier, when you drive by yourself to Grand Rapids, it's just you. You can get bored. When you're driving with somebody, it can go really quick. You're talking, having conversations. You don't notice the mile markers. Same thing here. So this last marathon, the second half of it, was easier on me because I was engaging. I was having conversations all while running, an 8-minute pace, 8:30 pace.
What meal are you thinking about?
What meal?
Yeah, what do you want to eat?
So that's changed for me throughout the years. As I was doing my earlier marathons, something about chocolate milk and Diet Coke is what I would be craving.
Chocolate milk.
Either like running a marathon or training for it. I'm now, with my marathons, I've got a meal for me that I want. So I'll buy the thing that I want to eat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like my carrot at the end. I know that this thing that I want is in the car.
Waiting for you.
Yeah, so this past marathon, I'd actually taken a half of a Someday sandwich from Shorts that was in my cooler, and I had 3 really big chocolate chip cookies and a glass of milk waiting for me after the marathon. So that was in my mind, I would say. But I mean, food usually isn't in my mind when I'm running. Sometimes it is. No. Sometimes.
What do you hope your kids learn from your achievements?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've talked about this, and it's, again, twofold answer for me. I hope they learn that, running is the action. It's just one foot in front of the other. Yeah. But you have to do it. You can talk about it. You can have conversations about how you're going to do it. One day, I got to get the stuff. It literally starts with taking the first step out of your door.
Yeah.
And that's everything in life is just taking the first step. Yeah. I hope they learn that from running. I hope they learn that hard things can be done.
Yeah.
And it's mostly your agency. It's your choice to do it. You can decide, do you want to make things hard or easy?
Yeah.
Or is it difficult? But I'm just going to tell myself it's not difficult. I'm going to feel at ease with doing hard things.
Yeah. What has completing marathons taught you about yourself?
Oh man, where to begin? You know, where did this adventure start? It started with running a 5K. So many of the things you do in life, you don't know what the end goal is. You can't even see the end goal or even comprehend it. You don't know where you're going. So much of it to me is built on momentum, but it's also built on taking the risk to go there. You know, if we talk to what I hope I teach my kids, it's taking the risk, whether it's changing careers, whether it's doing something challenging physically, engaging in a conversation, take the risk. I couldn't have imagined being where I am now as opposed to when I started doing 5Ks. It's just there's just so much to it. So, man, what else I've learned about myself? I can do hard stuff. I can be a pleasant person while doing hard stuff.
Yeah.
I can think and be thoughtful while doing hard things. I also, somewhere along the way, as I was doing the running and doing the career path, what I had kind of realized about myself was, you know, this growth mindset had hit at the same time I was doing 5Ks. And I always kind of said to people, like, I just don't want to be I don't want to be passed by with technology. I want to keep changing. I want to keep learning. But what I really realized was that I just don't want to have a ceiling on myself. I don't want to ever cap myself.
Yeah.
Like that 5K, I never wanted that to be the ceiling. And maybe I didn't know at the time. Maybe running has shown me this part of myself or personality. But running, career, father, personal, I don't want to cap myself. I don't want to be the dad that never changed after a certain point. I don't want to be the husband that gave up after a certain point about dating his wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the friend that gave up on somebody and was like, oh, that's just who he was as a friend. He was good for this, and that was it. That was it. Running, career, and running has been the biggest vehicle medium to show me, take the action, take the risk. It is momentum. You can do this thing.
Yeah.
Go and do it. You'll get better along the way. And oh, by the way, when you keep doing this stuff, you'll notice that you're kind of obsessed with not limiting yourself. Like, people ask me all the time, can you do an ultra marathon? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not Jeremy crazy, where I'm just gonna go do something really wild, but if I signed up to do it, yeah, I think I can do it.
You do it.
Now, will I prepare? Yeah, probably like the first few marathons.
Yeah.
Will I be competitive? Yeah, probably not as much as I was when I was younger, but I would say I can do it from being at ease with imposter syndrome, having the confidence, but also I'm okay with not limiting myself. Yeah, I can do an ultra. Yeah, I could, whatever difficult thing is out there in the horizon. Maybe it's personal, right? Maybe it's something I'm going to have to go through medically as well, health-wise as well. I'm not scared of any of it.
No.
It's you have to confront those things.
You've faced the unknown before.
Yeah, countless times. And that's, again, like it kind of began to, I've learned that you can do hard things and still be a good person.
And you started EJ, you're working in the shop. You start running, you're running your first 5K, you don't know what you're doing. Then you're jumping into the unknowns of the 10Ks and the half marathons. You're jumping the unknowns of the office position you have. It seems to be like something that's running parallel throughout your entire life.
Yeah, and you put personal with it as well. I hope I'm a better father. I hope I'm a better husband, a better son.
Dating to marriage to kids.
Yeah. All that growth is all, they've all kind of hopefully hit the same steady growth chart. Hopefully. Yeah, they all go to each other, and the learning lessons that I learned from one affected the other two, right? Like, one of the books I've read was Habits by Charles Duhigg, and it talks about keystone habits, how one habit affects other areas of your life, like running. You know, running affects how much laundry I do that week and how much I take out the trash or how well I eat that week. If I don't run, all those other habits kind of fall down.
Yeah.
And, you know, running has been a key habit of mine that's affected my career. It's affected my professional life, my personal life. I think I'm no doubt a better husband, a better father, a better friend from doing these really hard things running. And like you said, you kind of get obsessed with it, with chasing this thing that's really hard, but also doing it with grace or doing it with respect or doing it while helping somebody else out.
Yeah.
Like nothing excites me more than doing hard things now with other people and getting them past those points, like motivating them, being there with them to do it as well, celebrating it with them. So that's, as a father and a husband, helped me tremendously, right? Like, you know, celebrating your kids and let them know they can do hard things. And when they do it, I'm right there with you. I'm watching you celebrate this thing, and I'm proud that you took the action. I'm proud that you can do this, and I'm not going anywhere. I got your back. So yeah, a lot of those things have come together for sure that I've never really put together until this interview, until now. So I appreciate it.
What advice do you have for someone that wants to get into running, or just somebody that's running wants to take a step to a marathon? Yeah,
take your steps. My only real advice now, again, I'm short on advice. I used to want to tell people
You're short physically too.
I physically, so I should just keep them all together.
Yeah.
I'm not a tall person, so I shouldn't have tall advice rolled out. But I've learned to do that. I used to be really quick to tell people how to be successful.
Yeah.
You want to run a marathon, this is exactly what you should. And I've spoken to senior graduating classes before, and I thought I had, the advice for them so they could all succeed. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite sayings is, don't give pearls to swine. Not everyone's listening to your advice.
No.
If people want to know your advice, they'll ask you.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not doling out my advice. So if people came to me looking for marathon help, I'll give it to them, but it's going to be minimal because it's your adventure.
Your race.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the things that I would avoid, but I'm not going to tell you the things to do.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what your nutrition looks like. I don't know what your preparation looks like. I don't know how you handle hard things.
Yeah.
But I know that you're going to want a good pair of shoes that your feet agree with. I know that you're going to want to put some miles in before the race, and make sure you're running.
Yeah.
And know that 18 to 22 you're going to have this point where it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to face it. So that would be my only advice for marathoner or runners. For a runner, it's like, if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Just take the action. I'm not shoving you out the door.
Yeah.
If you want to work out, but you need me to hold your hand through it, that's not a great start.
Yeah, it's not. One foot in front of the other, like you said earlier.
But even if you're like me and you latch on to like my brother, right? He was running, so I went running too.
Yeah.
Even if it starts like that, just go do it. But you got to get yourself out there and do it. Yeah, man, my advice is take your first steps, leave your doorway. Don't overcomplicate the process.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. If I was giving people level 2 advice of how to run a marathon, get some nice shoes that you like, that your feet agree with.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's all going to be a learning one. Your first marathon is such a steep learning curve that just be prepared for that. But most people, by the time they get to a marathon, they're pretty aware of this is really tough. This is going to be a learning experience for sure. So it's been pretty easy. And I've only had a handful of people ask me what to do and what I've done and how to get there. The same that I asked the people before me. So pretty lucky.
What's next? What are you doing next? More miles, ultras, going 50 miles?
I don't know.
50K?
I don't know.
Trail.
I'm having so much fun just doing whatever day to day. I don't have a plan. If I go to HIIT class 3 times a week, twice a week, once a week, if I walk my dogs 10 miles in a week, 12 miles in a week, if I weightlift twice a week or once a week, if I run 5 times a week or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
No plans right now. Switching jobs has taken that allocation again. Right?
Yeah.
Like life is different again. I'm trying to figure out what my days look like as far as allocation.
The new balance.
Yep. Yeah, rebalancing, and there's some grace involved, right? I haven't run nearly as much as I wanted to the last week.
Yeah.
I haven't been weightlifting. One of the things for me that sticks, Shane, that really gives me confidence is when things get tough for me, whether it's professionally or running wise, I know that I can just wake up earlier and do the work. So if I really want to get the miles in, I'll just wake up at 5 and do it.
Yeah.
If I really want to get the work in and get it done because I'm against the clock or I feel like I'm behind, just wake up earlier and do it.
Yeah.
I've always felt confidence since those building block days of 5K and new job that I have agency. I'm under the control that I can do the things I want to get things done that I need to get done.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to run more miles, it's only my fault that I haven't put the time in, right? I can excuse myself with new job, but it's really my, get up earlier. But again, there's grace too, right? Like my kids are super busy, soccer events and youth and government, meetings. So I also try and give myself some grace. If I don't run 2 days in a row, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. But as far as what's next, no real challenges. The marathon was never really a big challenge for me either. That was never like, I've got to do this eventually. It just was there as a challenge that I took. Is it a 50-miler one day in the UP in Marquette? Maybe. But as of right now, no, nothing ahead of me. I ran the Trail Ragnar this past June.
Yeah.
I ran the Bayshore Marathon in the spring. I don't have any other things ahead of me that are forced.
Yeah,
so a lot of my life lately has just been whatever comes my way to stay active.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think I learned today there's no trick to running a marathon. There's no hidden tricks, so I appreciate you coming to talk today, and it was awesome coming to Be Well here, and thanks to Be Well for hosting us. Thanks to Kyle for doing all the hard stuff, doing the real work behind the scenes, and yeah, it was fun, man. Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Yeah, again, thanks to everybody. And sincere thank you to all the people that have gotten us here, right? Family and friends. It's pretty special to have just a unique conversation in this space like this with you. It's definitely, I didn't think we'd be here. If you would asked me this in high school, I didn't think we'd be here having this conversation. Yeah. It's been a good, again, maybe the reason I'm excelling so well is because this is when I started meeting you, Shane, and started hanging out with you. So maybe you're the reason. That's, it's cool for me too because I'm going through a lot of challenges right now, and I get to have people set aside a couple hours every week to tell me about facing challenges. So it's cool. Yeah, it's a good feeding system, and again, being in Northern Michigan, we're so blessed with so many good people and family that you surround yourself with these people, and it's no mistake. I mean, you've got great people around you because you're a great person. So. Yeah, again, thanks everybody, and thanks Kyle for doing the hard work. Awesome. Thanks for having me. No problem. It's a wrap.